Welcome, everybody. We will head into EQ in a second, but first, as you can tell by that number at the bottom, I have some keys to use. Also, as you can tell, we're guaranteed going to be getting at least one max sing pull from this. Say Levy. At least proves to y'all that I do not plan my rank ups with advanced knowledge, I guess. I legitimately don't remember if I took Reed to Sig 200 before I knew this was coming. I think it was after. Again, I just don't think about this stuff on purpose. There's not really anything to these first six. We're just getting all six of them. Cool. Now, this is where it kind of matters, because if we could get Karnak and Star-Lord, that would be swell. Of course I get two max Sig pulls. That's how this works. That's fine, that also saves a gem. Of course. Sigs on Phoenix aren't bad. It is what it is. I got gems. Why do you want it? That's three good champions, Abyss. If you hate them that much, why did you open the box? Sorry to be a little pointed there. Because you know what really stinks is this is now three Reed max Sig pulls. But I was never taking anyone else out of one of these. Alright, it's Ascension materials and 3,600 shards. Now what do I want to do here? Sorry to hear that then, Abyss. Karnak is pretty tempting. Captain Britain looks really cool with it, though. I was a Claire main for a long time, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't know. This is tough. They all look good with it. Maybe I shouldn't have made the or opened this to make this choice just yet. Yes. You do get Titan shards from duping the Max Sig from the box. It also counts as a 7-star dupe for the purposes of retroactive Ascension materials. Or at least it frickin' better. My understanding is that it does. Okay. Hey, Boris. So I'm not planning on spending more, which matters because that means that whoever I pick for the other four, I'll never have shiny. I'm not worried about the dupes. I have gems. I have at least one skill gem and a tech gem, so like they're all good. I also have at least 3 generics. Oh, and for getting this far, I literally have an awakening gem that works on any one of these, so that's fine. I'm just picking who I want shiny because, like I said, you can't assume it'll ever come back. Oh, I already did that, Boris. This is the second one. You know, for pure old time's sakes, I'm gonna take Claire before I rethink it. She doesn't need the SIGs, but Claire got me through most of Act 5. I'll take it. Okay. Or Act 6, I don't remember. It's been a long time. It is gonna take a minute. This is gonna take a long minute. Maybe I should have done this before stream too. I'm just grabbing the 6 stars. If I see a 7, then cool. Hey, work. How's it going, man? Welcome, Neos. Okay, 6 star. Doesn't matter. Six star, 6 star. That's good work. Statistically, somebody has to. Double Nico is funny. Nice, Abyss. Here's hoping it takes 4. I wish you luck. God, that was the first 10 out of 52. Maybe I should do this later. Y'all are allowed to vote. But who knows? I might get lucky. Would definitely be nice if there was some option to be like, only ask me if you're deciding between 6-star up rarities. Ooh, those are good work. That's very neat. Also, obligatory Abyss, I don't want to patronize or anything, but if it is coming down to a payday for you, you don't need to spend on the game. It'll be okay. These characters will come back eventually, but I understand you said clear special to you. Stig's on 7-star Iceman is nice. That's the first 7-star. Cool. 6. Not, but that's fine. Hey, Warp, how's it going? Alright, 6. Doesn't matter. 6. Probably should have taken the Dazzler, but that's fine. 6. Ooh, okay. Don't mind if I do, and those are both 6, so let's get Black Cat next. I did, Warp, yeah. Even though, of course, on the way, I also pulled him out of the box twice instead of once when he was already max sig. Because of course I did. A lot of my kids in here. Yeah, it is what it is. Like, if I had to put money down on it, I would have. Like, I just... I'm not a lucky man. And I'm mostly at peace with it. Ooh! It's not to say I never get lucky, but it is rare. And yes, I understand the argument about her sig level. I don't care. We'll fix it eventually. I'd rather have the silver stars. Congrats, Abyss. Yeah, it happens, Warp. I had also used a gem on Phoenix. Not that long ago. It's just the way it goes. Cool, just a few more. Was that the first Patriot I've seen in here? Kind of amazing that it's this deep. And there he is again. It may not have been. Yeah, pretty much. It's impossible to truly not get your hopes up. I won't pretend that I don't. But I do my best not to. Because it's just really important to remember that, like, the odds are terrible, but also the odds are pretty good that you will do worse than the odds. Because someone has to. And that is the thing that people love to, like, selectively forget going into these. Another 7-star. Nice. And Ronin's a rare one. I don't think I clocked that Scarlet Witch was a 7-star. That's cool. I definitely did not realize when I clicked it. Got mildly lucky there weren't more 6s in that one, I guess. Ooh, okay. 7-star Colossus there, too. All told, that's pretty good. Like, that was a decent rate of 7 stars out of these. Cool, I'll do that maintenance later. None of these really matter right now. We're getting close to where we can open the Titans, but not yet. Cool. Stigs on Sassy is good. Yeah, Karnak's good, too. I like Karnak a lot. Okay. I can take one of these all the way up because I have the romance gem. Actually, who does the romance gem apply to again? Fun fact, I built this tag. It's very easy. Oh, 7 stars only. Okay, so the new 3. That's funny. I literally just could save them for Blue Marvel, but I already have gems for him, so that would be kind of dumb. Maybe I just will go Claire since I went ahead and did the shiny on her. Yeah, there's some very good champs in that tag. And like I said, a lot of mine. Could save for Kitty too. That's not a bad idea either. I've never been much of a Kitty player, so I don't think I will here, but that is a really good shout. Kitty will definitely go up. She's neat. But I'm not likely to be the person using her in my particular battle group. I'm glad to hear it, Abyss. I'm definitely not trying to say, like, you're not allowed indulgences. Um, but yeah, just make sure it's within your means. I like this game quite a bit. It is not worth it over necessities. Hey, Blizzard. Also, the primary Kitty player in my particular battle group will refuse to use Claire under pretty much any circumstances. So we might as well have mine. I think coming at it with that lens is a little off, uh, unofficial, in that, like, because like previously you had 30 champions and you could ban 3, yes, but that didn't mean that you really had 27, because if your opponent banned, like if both of you banned options you both had, then it went all the way down to 24, right? And the increase now to 40, you could look at that as 27 going up to 35, but I think it's more realistic under a lot of circumstances to look at it as 24 going up to 30. And I think the extra bands make a little more sense in that vein, because otherwise it would be 24 going all the way up to 32. Does that make any sense? Like it's as much about the options that you have open and not just about like 10% is the exact correct amount of bands. And then before we forget, because I will, let's go ahead and throw stat focus and a relic on her. That's actually pretty good. I'm gonna grab that. Cool. And then what do my catalysts look like? Got some cosmics, some mutants. No skill, so I can't take Karnak up right now. That's fine. Let's go ahead and get into the fights. Did I remember something wrong? I thought I wasn't supposed to have to do Classic. Do I still need to? Who was banning champs they had in their deck? So many people, Aiden. A lot of people will insist that that is the only way to approach Battlegrounds. Because that way you're drafting from a smaller pool. Okay. I misheard something. Alright, I guess they're still working on that. Cool. Cosmics, that's fine. That's also fine. That's cruel abyss. Noted ghost. I'm glad you did end up liking it. This feels weirdly laggy. Seems to be functioning okay. I mean, that's what Adam does. Last few years, it's not necessarily always called spring cleaning, so I try not to call it that, but there has been a sale in April that gives you units, and a sale in May that causes you to spend units. Why is that an issue, Unofficial? I'm going to be completely blunt with that. Like, that was already true with 3 bands. That was already true with 4 bands. That would be true with 6 or 7. It's all a matter of degree. But it is difficult for me to see one degree in particular out of those options as morally wrong. I will, Abyss. I'm glad to hear that. There's the problem with Nova right there. And there's why it's still worth it. I'm glad you're feeling like it has some of that effect, Alex. Take care, Warp. I'm sure you're already gone, but appreciate you stopping by. Those intensifies juicing the power gain is nice. Yeah. I definitely agree with you there, Work. I already felt tight on choosing when it was only 3. Yeah, the anims on Nova are absolutely perfect darkness. I am, yeah, Alex. I did 2 of them, but my 2 have not been announced, which narrows down the possible classes pretty well, but what are you going to do? You jerk. That's fine. It happens. Hey, buddy. That's also fine. Oh. Sometimes they just forget they have specials. Ah, I didn't mean to parry. You're a jerk, you know that? He's really not going to throw this. Get got. I am a little bit with you there as well, Aiden. Like, however you feel about the change, and you're allowed to dislike it, right? Especially at the end of this, that's totally fine. The thing that I think is completely inarguable is that Battlegrounds has seen almost no iteration in coming on 3 years now, and bluntly, that was unacceptable. The mode was feeling stale. Decks were feeling solved. It was getting boring. An experiment had to happen. And the thing about experiments is that sometimes they don't work absolutely perfectly. And as much as there are definitely some players, especially those who play Battlegrounds at high levels, who think that the mode would just be much improved if we did exactly what they said, that's not really how game design works. And so we need to try stuff and see how it affects the people who actually speak up, which is always going to be a minority, and then also see how it affects the people who don't speak up and tend to and like don't even show up on the forums, don't respond to posts, and who we can only really measure by checking their engagement numbers, right? We need to get the feedback, we need to check the data, we have to do all of that together. But first we have to actually try something. And sometimes people aren't going to like what we try, and that's okay. They're allowed to say that, but I really wish that more of the time when we got feedback that people didn't like something, it didn't have this air of, and you should feel bad for even attempting this. Like, I don't really have a lot of pity for that. Yeah, exactly. Like, this may not be it. We'll keep an eye on it. It was definitely time. No, none taken at all Abyss. BG's is not my favorite game mode, especially not lately. Jerk. Sam. Thank you. No auto block for you. Oh my god, he can auto block later? Why is that the way that works? Okay, well, now I know to count my hits with Adam. Jeez. Honestly, on the announcement thing, I don't have a lot of patience for that either. I understand where you're coming from. It's off season. Bluntly, this is an announcement. I don't really understand the complaint. Is the complaint that people would have dramatically changed their rank up decisions for a one-season experiment anyway? Because we're constantly being told that most people refuse to do that. There's also just the fact that it's like, it wasn't an intentional omission, right? Sometimes things get lost in the shuffle. We can say sorry for that and move on, but like I do think we need to move on because finding out about a change in Battlegrounds during the off season is exactly when you would want to find out about it. Like, you're not really going to be thinking about it before then anyway. You're going to be playing the current meta. I don't know. It just kind of feels like people want to complain. Mon frère, thank you. I always dex that too early. That's okay. I don't feel happy using rerolls. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. And I definitely know that, like, trust me, we're all on the same page. It would be nice if rerolls did not have the possibility of showing you the same champs that you just had, right? But that's a tech change. allowing you to use one every round, that's a data change. That's something we don't have to assign an engineer to. That just means a designer can find where it says 1 and put that number to 3, right? And so, like, that's one of the reasons that you're seeing these particular changes. A lot of us have thoughts about other things we want to try, right? Like, one of my personal things that I would love to see is, let's see 5 bans, but you can't ban more than 3 of one class. I think that would be healthier, right? But that's the kind of thing that we would need to build. We can't already do that. But what we can do is go from 3 to 5 and see how people adapt over a month. Do they stick with the super toxic thing that they start with? Does that remain the meta strategy? Or is that just what starts with and then it evolves, right? And I think I'm going to zoom out and get a little pedantic here for a minute. I think that is the kind of thinking that the MCOC community is not used to and should be. Because in Magic the Gathering, like, every 2 to 3 months, a new set hits, and the first few weeks, it's all aggro decks, right? Because everybody is just trying the fastest, most busted thing possible with the new, cheap, powerful cards, and then it stabilizes when people figure out the more complex things and how they fit together. We don't really have that because Battlegrounds has been too stagnant for that for years, right? And so maybe it does stabilize in a toxic way, and we need to do something about it, right? But maybe it doesn't. That's the kind of thing that you can only really know by trying it and watching. And again, it's something that I don't think that MCOC is used to, but that doesn't mean it's bad. No. That's the toxic part is specifically what Work was saying about, like, some of the strategies people are going. That was not aimed at you, Unofficial. I'm not angry at anybody here because nobody here is yelling at us. I have seen some takes that definitely have an undercurrent of this is bad and you should feel bad. And that's the part I don't care about. Or don't care for, or a bit of both. But yeah, I'm very curious to see where things stabilize. Hold on. What's the... Ah, intercept. That's fine. That's also fine. Grow. Here. Thank you. Oh. I hadn't seen the invisible worm yet. Didn't realize that was happening on my device. That's fine. She'll throw it. We'll probably survive. If we don't, I don't care. Yep. That was so rude. No, I didn't see the question about the Coliseum boost. What's up, Abyss? Hey, Hilgen. Welcome. Welcome, Floyd. Yeah, Big Things War is another thing. And, like, that's... Haha. But that is also something that is not perfect yet, right? There are iterations to do there. But I think it's been a largely successful experiment. Okay, and this one is for text. That makes sense. The year is young, Jethro. We shall see. Oh. And wait, this is the power drain one, right? Okay, but also armors are fine. Cool. It is similar to the invulnerability boost for war, yeah. It only works once and not 3 times. But like the it has a duration and then is paused until a special ends, which basically means it will save you once, right? It will save you from one combo, one special 3, one special 2, no matter how long the animation takes, maybe a little bit afterwards, and then it's gone, right? So it can save you on your way up. It can also save you if you fail the sleep prompts. Like, there's definitely a few different ways for it to be useful, but it should be pretty flexible. Definitely would, Elijah. I mean, mine in particular, but definitely not only mine. There are a number of characters that have been designed not exclusively for certain current war nodes, but it often helps shape some of the abilities around the edges. That's really funny. I will, Hilgen, yeah. I'm just over 2 right now. Not sure who I'm going to take up. It might be Blue Marvel. Might be somebody else. It will probably be one of my kids. We'll see. I'm glad to hear that, Jaden. I've heard mixed takes on it, and none like super negative. Um, but like some people miss the poker side of it. So I'm glad you're liking the new iteration. Can I ask, does that include the simplified matching, or is it just that the fights are more fun for you to grind? Either answer is fine. Why are you being mean, M'Baku? Always both. That's fantastic. That's a little confusing. Why is he getting 2 power drain triggers on special activation? Feels wrong. Very cool, SYC. Congrats on that. That's not really true, Ghost. Like, we have so much ability to scale war. A jump in difficulty doesn't need to be a jump in difficulty everywhere. Yeah, I very much agree with Aiden there. The power lock. Thank you, Aiden. Yeah, I honestly forgot. I don't know, Ghost. But it is a month long, isn't it? Both. Okay. I'm glad you're liking both. I am really amused that it's because you wrote something to solve it, though. Not shocked, but that is funny. I don't know what the nodes are, Elijah. But I think that kind of experimentation is good. Oh, yeah. Yes. If I put those together, but you're probably right, Elijah. I haven't played it yet, but that does feel like you're trending high. There is some randomness, though. Alright, no miss. Hate the frickin' combo reset issue. Should have just thrown another light, though. What exactly are you grinding that you're worried about? Like, I admit I'm kind of confused because it feels like the rewards are completely optional after this third place one. I don't think it's going to be that hard to be in the top 50%. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't think you have to finish this. I don't know. Wow, she is really not letting me... There we go. I'm having trouble with those parries. That makes sense, Elijah. Like, is that where you're coming from, Ghost? Are you trying to fully max it out every 7 days? You are here for the trees. Sorry, I don't know how that suddenly went Lorax. I'm sorry, Ghost, but that sounds self-inflicted to me. It should absolutely be allowed for Kabam to design events that most people don't max out. Like, it's okay for you to decide that it's not worth it to go further without it being an indictment of the event design, is kind of my point. Okay, science. Small waste of energy. Hey, Nick, how's it going? I'm glad you're happy, Jaeger. And I'm glad you're not too hung up on the lack of a poison replacement. Yeah, it's pretty much my plan as well, Hogan. And as you saw a second ago, I haven't done any of it yet. But I will do as much as I'm happy with. No, Harry, it's only the selectors on the web store. I spent a bit to get it. I'm definitely not going to join you in being upset about the units, Ghost. There are just so many units in game these days. Let things evolve. Doesn't have to be the exact same sources of units every month, every year. There's so many free ones. Yeah, you're gonna have much better uptime on decent attack rating. That plus the armor breaks is definitely enough, in my opinion. If I were truly given carte blanche by the art team Abyss, I think I would actually try to make Cloak and Dagger two different champions, kind of like Sentry and Void. But I would hope that we could do a model swap outside the special 3. Because that's cool, but it doesn't feel like enough to me. So like I would want them to be separate, but I would definitely want like at least in the special 2 for the other one to come in. Possibly even something like you see links to the other during heavy charging or something. Like I would love to see something along those lines. I mean, if you're approaching some of the other modes the way you are the poker one, Ghost, then maybe you're grinding more than you have to. That could definitely be true for Coliseum, too. And that's kind of what I mean by let things evolve. Like, you can't just look around and go, no down, only up. Like, this player base is really used to that. Like, any change that isn't inarguably, universally, across the board, an improvement for literally all kinds of players, but especially the kind that I am, gets complaints, and we're told that we need to go back to whatever the old one was. And that's just not how it's gonna work. Whoops, sorry. Why is that there? Never run into that button before. I've seen the relic thing. Personally, I don't love that. Like, I get it. But then that's using extra art and design development for them to only show up in strikers, and then the kits have to be built around the strikers in a very specific way. You have to make sure that you're not accidentally building stun chains, or there are a lot of design writers on that where that might be the way we go, but it doesn't excite me quite the same as like I would just love the ability to model swap outside of the special 3. Oh yeah, I need to fix that photon bug. I don't know what's up with her energy vulnerabilities. North Star has a sister. So there's a point, Ghost. If you're getting 6 million, you are literally doing more than you need to. The max solo milestones is only 4 million. You can place top 20 without anybody going above 4 million. Hey, Dot. Well, to me, that sounds like a different problem, Ghost. It sounds like your concern was the arcade fight and not that it was too grindy. And it sounds like you're conflating them a little bit. I promise, I'm not trying to be pedantic there. That is a pretty big difference, right? Because you don't have to get 6 million points. You felt compelled to get 6 million points because you felt the fight was overtuned. Those are not the same thing. I also went over 5 million, Hilgen. But I definitely could have gone a lot further. And I didn't, because I wouldn't have enjoyed it. And my alliance placed 10th. I wasn't the top scorer, but I was up there. Again, you don't need to get everything to podium 3. Right, and you just said something out loud that's been kind of quiet up until now. Others could not do that or didn't want to. People not wanting to engage with the mode enough to get all of the rewards does not inherently mean the mode is too grindy. It, like, this is kind of my overarching point here. It feels like you think that it is inherently a problem with the event design if you and or your alliance aren't enjoying the process of maxing it. And I don't think that that is a valid assumption. I think sometimes you can just not max it. Runty, don't be weird. You can talk again in 10 minutes. Okay. I know you've heard me say this before, Ghost, but game design is about managing tension. Sometimes you can feel tension, and that's fine. Like, it is not the job of live service designers to make it so that you never feel bad. I know a lot of people really don't like hearing me say that. Yeah, I would prefer it be more than 3 days, Nick. I have my gripes with Alliance Coliseum, and I've said them internally. But I don't really think the premises that Ghost is arguing from are super valid. That's why I play Dark Souls, to never feel bad. Exactly. Right, but part of what I'm saying in response, Ghost, is that it is difficult for me to really take your feedback there without a heavy grain of salt when you are grinding more than you have to. Hmm. Wasn't paying attention to that. Well, that's kind of annoying. The disorient turning off the dex buff is so obnoxious. Okay, I'm out. I'm sure I have somebody else who can take this, but like, Jesus. Yeah, give me power. I'm sorry, I don't like this boss design. The fact that it's this easy to get stonewalled without the ability to even hit the opponent in Classic is absurd. Also, if you did 25 rooms of incursions, then you definitely did more than you were supposed to. The ask was 15. I do think that the time limit on those 2 incursions runs was way too tight and said so internally. They do as much damage as they used to, Harry. It's the short version. It's weird behind the scenes, and it's why we had to accelerate the other fix. So it's like can only be so clear. But they effectively have an invisible vigor that applies to only their hits, including blocked hits, and not to any red numbers. That just makes them do as much damage as they would have once. Take care, Ghost. Trying to make sure that I don't let the mood from that Ultron fight carry over anywhere else. Let me scroll. Oh, I ignored your podium question, honestly. That's speculation. Or speculation I'm not going to make. I don't see anything else from you. Did you ask the question about the boosts? I don't know. I don't see anything. Yeah, and in big things, Harry. Vigor is basically just do more damage. Dang, work. Okay, Mystics. And this time I actually will check the boss because everybody said I'm so glad that the bosses made sense with class advantage this time. And apparently nobody told me, oh, by the way, make sure you have a counter for the Ultron or he's just gonna be a massive jerk. Anywho. Man, some quest designers just think it is the funniest thing in the world to put a taunt debuff on a Nihilus. You know who you are if you're watching this stream. And they're probably laughing at me because they still think it's funny and they're... whatever. It is what it is. So Thing isn't actually using damage reduction the same way that other people are, so the change did absolutely nothing to him. I probably could Abyss, I just don't actually have an answer for you. Ma'am. Yeah. That's kind of what I figured work, but he'll be fine. Excuse me. Only means to an end. She doesn't actually want another pet. I don't know how to say this, Elijah. Your daughter's kind of weird. Thank you, Edgar. Actually, this will definitely be fun. I did not, yeah. I don't know what I was expecting. That'll work. What scientist hurt you is the only fair response to that. Easy move. I love Dracula. Special intercepts are difficult to pull off, and a large part of it is because most of you have had Herc lying to you about what they are for a long time. Special intercepts are tricky because you have to actually land the first hit, not press the button, while the opponent is still dashing. And so certain animations are much better for them than others. That's so unnecessary, Hicker. That's funny, though. Oh, I've seen so many of those, Abyss, just because the designer didn't want to. That line got a nod in the dialogue. It doesn't need to be a synergy. It's not exactly the most respectful way to title a synergy either. Take care, Hogan. That was my fault. That'll do. Didn't even throw the striker. Okay, let me check on something real quick. Cool. Trying to remember when something happened exactly, but I got time. I'm sure he is, Nick. I'm sure he is. Hey, Cyber. Feel whelmed? Somebody recently told me whelmed and overwhelmed actually mean the same thing. But I get what you mean. I think maybe just see how he feels next time we have a Coliseum fight he can take. Probably help you feel a little better. I haven't taken him up yet, but I definitely will. Cool. Ouch. Yeah, I should have thrown the special 2 first, gotten a longer eviscerating stun, and just a couple of the charges, and we would have been fine. That's alright. We'll get it back. Hey, Sim, how's it going, man? With the current length of it, 3 certainly feels fine to me. I feel like I can't really use everybody by the end of it. Why did I do that? Oh right, he's messing with my Purify ability accuracy. Haven't had to think about that in a while. You know, I just realized Omega Red doesn't have callouts for when he prevents a Purify. That should probably get added. Why don't X-23s bleed scale with attack? Because we didn't want them to. Scaling with base attack is particularly good for skill champions that cap attack. Yelena being the most obvious. It doesn't really matter with Shield because hers is on block, but you'll probably see more in the future. It's a nice interaction between the two classes. And then it also dodges weaknesses very efficiently. Man, I thought I actually got into a dash there. Oh, should still kill. You definitely answered your own point there, Abyss. Hey, Warrior. Welcome. It's going pretty well. Taking a day off work, which, bluntly, I needed. Gonna play Magic tonight. In a good mood. See, there it was. Wait. No, 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 no. That's so funny. Hold on. Uh... I have to... Hold on. I'll send that later. Um... I don't know if anyone knows why I'm laughing, but it has to do with spelling and homonyms. That's so funny. No, I'll stop being cryptic. That's the wrong breeches. Two E's is for pants, or I've seen sometimes that spelling used for breech births, but a breach in defenses is EACH. So these shorts must be matched by force is making me laugh. Nice, Darkness. Take care. Have fun. Is it hard to deal with getting criticism for a champ when I know the critiques are not based in reality or being made in bad faith? It's certainly annoying. Like, I don't want to say it's hard to deal with because it's been a part of the job since the beginning, and especially in the last year or so, when people decided that I was a useful figurehead for everything they don't like at Kabam. But, like, yeah, it is what it is. It's never gonna not be annoying. I'm human. I have feelings, but for the people who know what they're talking about, those kinds of critiques are normally more embarrassing for the people making them than they are for me. And I just have to take comfort from that. I mean, it's... The thing about that kind of spelling error is that homonyms just happen that way, right? Like, it's very easy. It's not really a spelling error the same way that something else is. It's not going to be underlined in red. It is a word. It is an English word in the dictionary, like without any additions. It's not even a particularly weird one. And so it's like very normal for our brains to use the wrong spelling for those things. I mean, maybe some of y'all are above this, but I type the wrong two and then correct it all the time. It's just very normal. Even though I fully understand and can define the difference between all of them. And so I'm sure that's what happened here, but because that's not the kind of typo that you stumble over at a table read, because it's very, like, it's incredibly readable, it's very easy to miss. Yeah, exactly. It's just, like, there's no shame in using the wrong homonym. There is absolutely some shame in not knowing the difference between them, but that's different. Figureheads are very tall. Okay. Reinforced breaches. He is very forward. The then and than definitely do bother me a little bit. There is a pronunciation difference there, subtle as it is. What was the one? Oh, this isn't quite the same thing. This actually is a spelling error, but I saw a D&D meme the other day that spelled campaign as though it were like champagne, which as I say them, they sound exactly the same there, right? And like sometimes there's a bit of a difference between like campaign and champagne. Like there's the kind of N you use can be very slightly different, but in American English there is almost no difference. And so I saw that and I was like, you know what? Fair enough. If I had never seen the word campaign written before, that's a pretty reasonable attempt. But yeah, language is weird. Is there a mutant with both Daunted and Prowess? I don't believe so. Not natively. Bad design is a strong judgment, but I would personally avoid it. Because they are meant to be kind of substitute mirrors of each other, right? At the risk of touching something dangerous, that is part of why I don't personally think it's a big deal that the protection rework made it so Daunted doesn't cut through it anymore. Because Daunted was not intended to be anti-protection. Daunted was intended to be prowess that hit dots. Full stop. That was the entire design intent of Daunted, was something that cared about special attacks and allowed you to use dots. There's a reason that it first showed up on Onslaught, right? And the second time it showed up, we were using reverb, and the third time we were using very long duration neuroshocks. Was the whole point. And because prowess doesn't hit dots, it would be weird to build somebody who double dips with the two effects, which would have a multiplicative effect on hit damage, but who isn't using dots. It would be a very tough sell as to why a character needed both, right? Well, campaign is also a French borrow word, right, ASAP? So that wouldn't actually explain it. I think they have just seen the word champagne printed and not campaign. Which happens. Yeah, Gentle does benefit from both, but he doesn't have both because that would have kind of been confusing the two, right? Instead, he has attack rating. Excuse me. I just realized I'm one skill champion away from being able to populate a whole team. I don't know if this sways you, Harry. I took Gentle up first because of the dual threat benefits, but North Star wasn't far behind. Or sorry, not Harry, Abyss. Read the wrong one. That's my boy. Probably predisposed to pick some of my own. I don't know. I haven't thought about it in a while. I'm not normally somebody who picks favorites, as I've said before, but I will think on that one. Hey, Walrus, how's it going? How strong is that freaking disorient? Come here. It doesn't say. Okay, am I still logged in over here? Called accident prone? %. Okay. So I was just very unlucky. That's fine. Yeah, I'm pretty confident that Colossus will feel different from Gentle. I get where you're coming from. For one thing, they will be different designers. I do know that one that you're talking about, Abyss, yes. There we go. Those are some crits. I didn't say a hard no, but I haven't been assigned any. Which does mean odds are kind of low. I have also said that I would love to do. That does not mean that I have assigned it. But it would be fun. Whoops. I don't believe so, Nick, because I believe that the maximum distance between characters is locked to a set number of meters in game, right? And the camera is also supposed to respect that maximum distance, again, in meters. If you are on a wide enough screen that what the camera actually shows you is different, that's fine, but that outer limit should still be the same. Got a bit lucky there. Nice, Alfie. Dibs. It's not the same. Woo, he got up quick from that. I didn't realize. Oh, that's unfortunate. Alright, come here. Yeah, that log was good. Okay, that was a lot. Oh, yeah, those are just the normal ones. That's fine. I had a thought just now. Don't remember it. It's okay. I'm sure I could get rows of 17 if I turned my vertical monitor back horizontal. I have a very wide one that I have set up, like I just said, vertical. This is good for viewing Google Docs and that kind of thing. Take care, Nick. All right. I am also shutting down, because I need to drive a fair ways before I can play Magic. But great chatting with y'all, hanging out. It's been a while since I streamed. You'll probably hear some more from me this weekend, but probably not tomorrow. Sometimes ASAP, but I don't think it was that important. But yeah, thank you, everybody. I'll see you soon. Take care.